Imagine walking into work one morning expecting a normal day, only to find out that the most incompetent, unqualified suck-up in the entire office is suddenly your new superior. And imagine that same man humiliating you publicly, only for you to destroy his illusion of power with one perfectly timed email. That's exactly what happened to Evan Carter. The office he worked in was a cold, gray maze of cubicles and flickering lights. 30 people moved through it every day, trying to survive 8-hour shifts without losing their sanity. It wasn't a bad place, not until he came along. His name was Lance Rourke. 8 months at the company, no accomplishments, no leadership skill, just a loud laugh, a fake smile, and an unbelievable talent for kissing up to management. Everyone knew what he was, but no one expected management to actually reward him for it. So when the announcement went out that Lance had been promoted to team lead, the entire floor stopped breathing for a moment. People triple-checked the email. They thought it was a mistake, a glitch, a joke. But no, it was real. 3 qualified employees had applied. All had spotless records. All had seniority. All had the leadership experience the job required. But HR mysteriously dropped their grievances. And somehow the least qualified person in the building got the position he didn't deserve. The moment Lance received that tiny taste of authority, he transformed. He strutted through the rows of desks like a king inspecting his kingdom. He hovered behind employees, watching their screens, correcting them on work he barely understood. He used phrases like, "As your team lead," and "management entrusted me with this team." But the truth was obvious. He wasn't a leader. He was a puppet who thought his strings were gold. And the team hated him, quietly but fiercely. Eventually, middle management confronted him. They told him people didn't like him. They told him morale was tanking. And they told him he needed to build positive relationships. Lance's idea of leadership? Force bonding. He announced monthly, not required but basically required happy hours. Always unpaid, always after hours, and always framed as the perfect opportunity to connect as a team. The office panicked. Parents scrambled for babysitters. People with long commutes tried to rearrange their lives. Everyone felt the invisible threat. If you don't show up, you might not be safe. Everyone except Evan. Evan had been at the company for 7 years. He wasn't loud. He wasn't political. But he was smart. And more importantly, he knew the law. Hourly employees couldn't be required to attend unpaid work events. Simple as that. So when Lance swaggered up to Evan's cubicle, leaning against the wall like they were friends, Evan didn't give him a single inch. "Hey, man," Lance said. "Saw you didn't RSVP. You're coming, right?" Evan looked up, calm and steady. "No," he said. "I'm not." Lance blinked. "Well, it's important for team cohesion." "Then pay me," Evan replied. "If it's required, I'll be on the clock." Lance's fake smile fell apart. He backpedaled. "It's not required, just expected." "Then I'll skip," Evan said. "Enjoy the happy hour." Lance walked away like a storm cloud. The next day, the office was stiff with tension. People forced smiles. They lied about how fun the happy hour was, how great it was to bond. But Evan could see the exhaustion in their eyes, the fear. At 10 a.m., during stand-up, Lance saw his moment. He puffed out his chest and said, "Great turnout yesterday. Really proud of the team." "Well, almost everyone." Then he turned slowly toward Evan. "Some people just aren't team players," Lance said loudly. "Management notices these things. Don't skip company events, everyone." The room froze. Evan didn't speak, didn't react. He simply stared at Lance, calm as glass. 20 minutes later, Evan drafted an email. Short, simple, devastating. Hey everyone, someone asked about whether after-work events are required. Just wanted to share that state statute says hourly employees can't be required to attend unpaid events. So if you can't make it, don't worry. You're fully within your rights. Friendly, helpful, impossible to argue with. Evan hit send. A ripple of whispers spread across the office as 30 screens lit up. People looked relieved, empowered, free. And then Lance's office door slammed open. He stormed out, waving his phone like it was a weapon. "Who sent this?" he demanded. His eyes landed on Evan. Evan didn't budge. "It's just information," Evan said. "People should know their rights." Lance's jaw twitched, but he couldn't do anything. Not legally, not professionally. Evan had checkmated him in one move. The next happy hour came around. Lance showed up early, sat at the bar, ordered drinks, checked his phone again and again. No one came. Not a single employee. Not even his devoted suck-ups. He sat there alone for nearly an hour, a king with no subjects, a leader with no followers, a man whose power had evaporated the moment people stopped fearing him. The next month, same thing. In the month after that, Lance stopped trying, stopped smiling, stopped hovering behind people's desks. People ignored him in meetings, walked around him in the hallways, stopped acknowledging him entirely. He hadn't just lost control. He lost the one thing he'd been desperate for: respect. So Evan didn't need applause. He didn't need revenge delivered with fire. He simply let the truth do what it always does: burn away the fake crowns and leave the pretenders exposed. And in the end, the quietest man in the room won the loudest victory.